Wyatt's suit alarm shrieked the same message it had been screaming for the past 6 minutes. Hull breach. Atmosphere venting. Emergency seal failed. The Brynford groaned around him, her back broken across Frostmire's methane ice, and he pulled himself hand over hand through the twisted corridor toward the science bay because Lyrissa was in there, and he'd be damned if he survived this crash just to let her die alone. The bay door hung half open. He squeezed through. Found her pressed against the far wall, lavender skin pale in the emergency lighting, her large violet eyes tracking his approach with prey-species wariness that made his chest tight. "You're hurt," she said. Her translator crackled. "Your leg." He looked down. Yeah. Plasma burns across his thigh where the console had exploded. Didn't feel it yet. Adrenaline was useful like that. "Your suit's compromised," she continued, and her voice climbed toward panic. "The shoulder seal, you're losing pressure." He checked his readouts. She was right. 17 hours of air if he stayed still. Maybe 12 if he moved around. The shoulder joint hissed softly, leaking precious atmosphere into Frostmire's toxic methane. "Yours?" he asked. 20 hours. She pulled her knees to her chest, making herself smaller. Her environmental suit flickered with warning lights. Heat filament failing, core temperature dropping. The ship groaned, metal contracting in the -200-degree cold beyond the hull. "Beacon," Lyrissa whispered, transmitting. He settled against the wall across from her, keeping distance. She needed space. Her species evolved as prey on a garden world where the most dangerous thing was weather. Humans terrified the Sarathi. Too much muscle, too much bone density, eyes that looked like they were designed to hunt. Which, if he was honest, they were. "How long until rescue?" she asked. "Signals weak, might be days." She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, something had shifted. "I've been running probability calculations. My suit will fail first. I can transfer my air to your tanks. Give you 4 more hours." "No, Wyatt, not happening." She made a sound between a laugh and a sob. "You don't even like me." That stopped him. "What? Your kind doesn't like mine. We're weak, we're fragile, we freeze up in crisis." "You figured out the mineral deposits that justified this entire mission," he interrupted. "You play terrible music that I happen to also like. 3 weeks ago you laughed at my quantum entanglement joke even though it wasn't funny." "It was a little funny," she said quietly. "See," he tried for a smile. "Besides, I'm stubborn. Runs in the species." The temperature dropped another degree. His suit compensated, burning power it couldn't afford. Outside, methane wind carved new shapes in the frozen nitrogen drifts. "Tell me about Earth," she said suddenly. "Your homeworld." He shifted, trying to get comfortable on the deck plating. It hurt to move. The burn on his leg was starting to make itself known. "Dangerous. Beautiful. We've got weather that can kill you in minutes and animals that think you're food and gravity that most species can't handle." "That's a death world?" "Yeah." His voice went soft. "But there's this thing, fireflies, little insects that glow in summer. My brother and I used to catch them in jars when we were kids." Lyrissa tilted her head. The gesture reminded him of a cat. Curious despite the fear. Were they dangerous, completely harmless? That's the thing about Earth. Some stuff wants to kill you and some stuff just wants to exist, and you have to learn which is which. How do you tell the difference? Time. Attention. He met her eyes. Vertical pupils, lavender irises that caught the light. You watch, you listen, you learn. She held his gaze for a long moment. Then her suit alarm beeped and she flinched, breaking the connection. Core temperature at 94 degrees. "Come here," he said. "What? You're cold." "I'm generating more heat than my suit can shed. Basic physics." She stared at him like he'd suggested jumping out the airlock. "You want me to come closer?" "For warmth, not," he gestured vaguely. "Anything else." Her ears flattened against her skull. A Sarathi expression he'd learned meant conflicted. She was scared of him, but she was also freezing. Survival instinct warring with prey-species caution. "Please," he said, softer. "I'm not going to hurt you, I know that." Her voice came out small. "In my head I know that, but my body doesn't believe it." "Fair enough." He pulled off his damaged glove, held out his bare hand. Palm up, non-threatening. "Start here." She stared at his hand. At the scars across his knuckles, the calluses from shipboard work, the too thick bones and too dense muscle. Then slowly, carefully, she reached out. Her fingers touched his palm. Delicate, 3-fingered instead of 5. Cool skin that felt like silk over bird bones. "You're warm," she breathed. deathworlder metabolism. His hand stayed perfectly still, even though every instinct screamed to close his fingers, to hold, to keep safe. "We run hot." She traced the lines in his palm. The gesture felt intimate in a way he hadn't expected. Her touch feather-light, exploring. "Your bones are so dense," she said. "I can feel them through your skin." Gravity, Earth's 1.0 standard, we're built for it. And this, she touched a scar, training accident, plasma torch. This one. Bar fight on Verdani's station. "You fight often, only when someone deserves it," he smiled, "or when I'm drunk, sometimes both." She made a sound that might have been a laugh. Her fingers lingered on his wrist, finding his pulse. Fast, strong, powerful enough to break her if he wanted. But he didn't want, had never wanted. The thought of hurting her made him feel sick. "Better?" he asked, a little. She pulled her hand back, wrapped her arms around herself. "Thank you." The hours crawled past. Wyatt's shoulder seal degraded further. His air supply ticked down towards single digits. The cold crept deeper, past his suit's failing insulation, into muscle and bone. Around hour 9, Larissa pulled out her scanner. "Just checking vitals," she said. The device bathed him in pale green light. She frowned at the display. "What?" he asked. "Your metabolism. It's changing. Probably the cold." "No." She moved closer, fear temporarily forgotten in scientific curiosity. "Your body's generating heat differently. Your cells are processing oxygen with higher efficiency. 91% versus your baseline 82. That shouldn't be possible." He tried to focus, but his vision kept blurring. "Body adapts. Human thing, not like this." She scanned him again, eyes widening. "Your muscle tissue is restructuring, becoming denser. Your lung capacity is expanding to compensate for low oxygen. I can watch it happening in real time." The cold tried to shut him down. His body responded with heat, with chemistry, with the stubborn refusal to quit that had carried his ancestors through ice ages and plagues and wars. "This is incredible," Larissa whispered. "You're experiencing rapid metabolic adaptation. Your cells are changing their function to match environmental pressure. We theorized deathworlders could do this, but we've never documented it." He managed a smile. "Lucky you." Her expression shifted, softened. "Does it hurt?" "Yeah, everything hurt." His bones ached like they were being crushed and rebuilt. His chest felt too tight, ribs expanding to accommodate larger lungs. His muscles burned with accumulated lactic acid. She set down the scanner, moved closer, hesitated. He stayed still, letting her decide. She pressed against his side. Her suit was cool against his, but her presence felt warm, solid. "Real, thank you," she said quietly, "for not giving up. Haven't yet." His arm came around her shoulders, careful, gentle. She fit against him like she was made for the space, for being protected. "Tell me about your world," he said. "Need distraction." She relaxed incrementally. "My world has 6 moons. They rise at different times and we use them to mark seasons. In summer, the crystal forests sing. The wind passes through mineral formations and creates music. My creshmates and I used to lie in the meadows and listen for hours. Sounds beautiful." It was. Her voice went distant. If I see it again." "You will." "How can you know?" "Because I'm not dying on this frozen rock and neither are you." She looked up at him, her face so close he could see the fine scales along her cheekbones, the way her pupils contracted in the dim light. "You can't promise that. Watch me." Something passed between them. Understanding, maybe. Recognition. She was scared and he was dying and neither of them was giving up. Her hand found his. Squeezed. He squeezed back. Hour 14. The pain intensified. His suit registered his heart rate spiking, adrenaline flooding his system. His bones felt like they were on fire, restructuring themselves. His muscles cramped and released and grew denser. "Wyatt." Larissa's voice pulled him back from the edge. "Stay with me. Trying. Your body's going into adaptive overdrive." She checked her scanner, voice tight. "Growth hormones. Testosterone. Your endocrine system is dumping every survival chemical it can synthesize into your bloodstream. You're building more muscle mass minute by minute." He couldn't answer. The transformation took everything. His lungs expanded, ribs cracking and healing and expanding again. His heart rate climbed to 140, 160, pumping new muscle full of oxygen-rich blood. "Please don't die," she whispered. "Please." He gripped her hand harder than he should. "Use the pain to stay conscious. Not going anywhere. Hour 19. His suit gave up pretending. Oxygen at 6%, heat filament dead, core temperature at 91 degrees. Medically, he should be unconscious. Instead, something changed. His lungs pulled in the trace oxygen and processed it with brutal efficiency. His body heat spiked, internal furnace burning resources to stay warm. His muscles moved with unfamiliar power. He stood. Larissa gasped. "What are you doing?" Testing. His voice sounded different, rougher. The gravity that had been crushing him felt manageable now. His legs took his weight easily. She scrambled up, scanner aimed at him. "Your cellular structure. You've increased bone density by 38%, muscle mass up 42%. You're breathing 6% oxygen, and somehow your brain isn't shutting down." Adaptation. He stretched, felt new strength coiling through transformed muscle. It worked. This isn't adaptation. She stared at her scanner, at him, back to the scanner. "This is your body rewriting itself. Your mitochondria are producing energy at rates I've never seen. You're processing methane traces for hydrogen to supplement oxygen. You shouldn't be standing, should be, not am." She made a sound between awe and terror. "You're magnificent." He looked at her. Really looked. Violet eyes wide, scales catching the light, expression torn between scientific fascination and something deeper. "Personal, raw, you're not scared anymore," he said. "I'm terrified." Her voice shook. "But not of you, then what?" "Of losing you." She stepped closer. "Of watching you die after you fought so hard to live. She stopped, swallowed. "Of how much I want to touch you." The words hung between them. Wyatt's transformed body hummed with energy, with life, with strength he hadn't possessed days ago. And all of it, every adaptation, every change, felt meaningless compared to the way she looked at him. "Then touch me," he said. She reached up, hesitated. He stayed perfectly still while her fingers traced his jaw. His cheek, the line of his throat. Exploring. "You're so warm," she breathed, like standing near a star. Her touch burned through him, not from heat. From wanting. From 3 weeks of careful distance and forced professionalism, and not letting himself feel what he'd been feeling since she laughed at his terrible joke. He caught her hand, pressed her palm flat against his chest. She could feel his heart racing. "For you," he said, "all of it, the adaptation, the survival. I fought because you needed me to." Her eyes went bright. "Oh, yeah." Wyatt, his suit alarm shrieked. Her suit alarm answered. The Brynford groaned, more sections collapsing. They were out of time. The escape pod was 40 meters away through a corridor half-crushed and open to vacuum. Her suit was failing. His oxygen was gone. They had minutes. He looked at the wreckage. At the impossible distance. At Larissa's face. "Can you build something?" she asked. Her scientist mind already working. "Use the bay equipment to create insulation." Not fast enough. He pulled off panels anyway. Grabbed wiring, insulation. Anything that could help. She joined him, moving with desperate efficiency. Her hands shook but didn't stop. They worked in silence, building something between a sled and a coffin. Crude, ugly, maybe functional. Hour 23. The sled was done. He secured every thermal blanket around her. Connected her to the last oxygen cylinder. Checked seals with shaking hands. "This won't protect me," she said quietly. "The exposure will kill me. It'll slow it down. Give rescue time." "What about you?" He met her eyes. "I'll make it. You can't know that. I can." His transformed body radiated confidence his mind didn't feel. "I've adapted this far. I'll adapt further, or you'll die trying." He touched her face. Gentle. His too strong hand cupping her too delicate jaw. "Then I die knowing I tried everything." Her eyes filled. "That's not good enough. It's all I've got." She grabbed his suit collar, pulled him down, kissed him. Her lips felt cool against his. Soft. Desperate, he kissed her back, careful even now not to hurt her. Pouring everything unsaid into the contact. 3 weeks of distance. 3 days of fighting. 3 hours of wanting. She pulled back, breathing hard. "Don't you dare die out there." "Wasn't planning on it. Promise me." "I promise." He sealed her in the sled, checked it twice more. Then opened the bay door. The methane atmosphere hit like a physical blow. -200 degrees. His exposed skin burned with cold. His lungs seized. His transformed body processed it, adapted, survived. He pulled the sled into the corridor, 40 meters, each one eternal. The wreckage tore his hands. The cold seared deeper than bone. His vision blurred, cleared, blurred again. 30 meters, his muscles screamed. His adapted heart hammered at 180. Heat poured off him, fighting the cold, burning resources. 20 meters. He couldn't feel his hands anymore. His feet dragged. Each step required conscious decision. 10 meters, his body began shutting down. Even adaptation had limits. 5 meters. The pod hatch swam in his vision. So close, he fell, got up, fell again. His adapted muscles wouldn't fire. The cold one. Larissa's voice crackled through comms. Wyatt, get up, please get up. He couldn't. His body had nothing left. Please, she sobbed, you promised. The promise burned hotter than the cold. He grabbed the sled, pulled, inches, feet, yards, the pod hatch. He shoved the sled inside, hit the seal, activated emergency systems. Heat flooded the compartment. Oxygen filled it. Larissa's vitals steadied. He collapsed in the hatch, half in, half out, his body shutting down. He'd pushed too far. The beacon activated, strong signal. Larissa tore out of the sled, grabbed his suit, pulled him fully inside, sealed the hatch. She ripped off his helmet. His lips were blue, his skin gray, his eyes unfocused. No, she said, no, no, no. You don't get to die after that. You don't get to save me and then die. She activated the medical kit, emergency stimulant, thermal blanket. Her hands worked while tears streamed down her face. His heart kept beating, slow, irregular. But beating, she pressed her ear to his chest. Listening, praying to gods she didn't believe in. His hand moved, touched her hair. She looked up, his eyes focused on her. Barely. Hi, he whispered. She laughed, cried, kissed him. You impossible, stubborn, magnificent human. Promised, he managed. Didn't I? You did. She held him while the pod systems worked, while rescue signals bounced through space, while his transformed body decided whether to shut down or survive. It chose survival, because of course it did. He was human. The rescue ship found them 30 hours later. They brought medical teams and investigators and questions. Wyatt spent 2 weeks in medical, his body slowly reverting toward baseline human parameters, but keeping some changes. Denser bones, more efficient oxygen processing. Like his cells remembered how to survive frostmire and decided the upgrades were worth keeping. Larissa refused to leave his room. She filled it with data, with scans, with proof of what she'd witnessed. Real-time metabolic adaptation. Proof that deathworlders weren't just dangerous. They were magnificent. On day 15, the medical officer cleared him for light duty. Larissa walked with him to the observation deck. They stood at the viewport, watching stars. The Sarathi Consortium wants my data, she said. Wants to study you. What did you tell them? That they can review my published findings like everyone else. He smiled. Won't that hurt your career? She leaned against his side, fitted herself into the space under his arm like she belonged there. Probably. Don't care. No, I watched you rewrite your biology to save me. Career seems less important than that. He pulled her closer. His transformed body still ran hot. She still fit perfectly against him. Besides, she added, I'm thinking of taking a position on a human research vessel, if they'll have me. Yeah, studying deathworlder adaptation in natural environments. She looked up at him, might need a human volunteer, might be convinced. She smiled, traced his jaw with one finger. What would it take? He caught her hand, kissed her palm, already convinced. That easy, he met her eyes. Saw fear and hope and want in equal measure. Saw someone who'd looked at a predator and chosen to stay anyway. Yeah, that easy. She stood on her toes. He bent down, they met in the middle. The kiss tasted like promises, like survival, like choosing each other against impossible odds. When they pulled apart, she pressed her forehead to his chest. Your heart's still racing, always does around you. Because of the adaptation, he laughed. No, because of you. She made a sound that might have been a purr. Good. Outside, the stars wheeled in their eternal patterns. Inside, two beings who shouldn't work together figured out how anyway, because the universe didn't care about probability. But sometimes, just sometimes, stubborn beat impossible. Adaptation beat extinction, and hope beat fear, every single time.